What is your relationship with time? Are you wired and tired, stressed and overwhelmed, busy and going nowhere? Or just want to scale your business? Welcome to Take Back Time with your host, Penny Zenker. Penny focuses on books, strategies, tools, and tips to help you work smarter and approach your time more strategically. As a result, you can have more energy, focus, and get more done in less time. Be more efficient and effective. Get ready to take back time.
Hello and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zenker and I'm your host. And on this show, I love to bring you every way that's possible for you to save time, for you to save energy, to save money, so that you can take back time in essence, right? And so that's the name of this show and what we're really out there to do for you as our listeners. And today we have a great guest, Cheryl Tan. She believes that everyone has a story to tell, and her mission is to help entrepreneurs, nonprofit organizations, and corporations to more effectively tell those stories on video. She's a speaker, a communications coach, and a host of the Standout podcast. And during her extensive career as a broadcast news anchor and reporter, Cheryl has really had the honor of telling thousands of stories for TV audiences. And now she shares the skills that she learned in the newsroom to help business people around the country. And she's the creator of the Video Bootcamp, a coaching program specifically tailored to entrepreneurs and experts who want to create a greater impact in the world and can do that through video. And her system eliminates the stress that's involved in creating these videos, saves you time, and helps her students to develop the skills to use video to reach bigger audiences. So without further ado, Cheryl, it's great to have you on the show.
Penny, thank you so much for having me on your show. Everything you've talked about on your show is something that resonates with me in terms of saving time and essentially living a better life.
Yeah, right? I mean, that's at the end of the day, when we can think and act more strategically and do things smarter, it's going to make our life better in every way.
Yep, absolutely. I agree 100%.
So tell us a little bit about how did you get on the news and what was that like?
That's a big question. It was not intentional. I will be very honest. I grew up in Northern Virginia, outside Washington, D.C., and I was an English major. I was just an English major at the University of Virginia. And I was working at the school newspaper. I worked at the local radio station. And I really thought that was my path. I thought I was going to be like a radio news reporter. Okay. And my mentor at the radio station, so it really speaks to the power of having someone be on your side a little bit, says to me one day, she says, "Cheryl, I think you should do TV news." And I was like, I don't know what that means. So I have no idea. I haven't been studying to do this. But she helped me understand what that meant. And then she pointed me in the right direction. And from there, I just started talking to people. I worked for free, worked for very little money in a bunch of places, and then worked my way up. And I've been doing it for about 20 years or so. And it's been a really amazing experience, just something you just couldn't imagine, especially from someone who hasn't studied the industry from a very, very young age. But It was really incredible.
Well, that's awesome. You know, I've heard from people that I've met who were in the industry that's actually really stressful. Is that?
Highly. Yeah. I wish I'd known that before. I really wish I'd known that before. But once, and that's about the power of a mentor, because when she felt like this was my path and said, "I see this in you," it was my path. I didn't waver from that, even though I had no experience. I should not have been on television when I was. Let me tell you that right now. I was not comfortable. I was not comfortable on camera, did not look camera ready. But something about trial by fire or a lot of errors on the air that helps you grow and become the person you are on camera. And so that really has worked. And it has worked for me in business because once I left television, you realize that you have to make a lot of mistakes and you sort of make it pretty publicly.
And everything that we do, right? It's just part of the process of growth.
You absolutely keep growing. So I don't know if I would have done that had I not started in this career so many years ago. So just that trial mentality, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm going to keep going, even though it feels uncomfortable. And boy, this is really scary. that I think I learned pretty early on, which I'm really thankful for.
When you said, the power of having mentors and taking that a step further is engaging an expert in an area to help to get you there faster and to get you over the hurdles that you might not know are there.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And when I was young, I didn't realize that's what I was doing, but really it was just my natural curiosity. Like, what does this mean? Why is this so scary?
Right.
Why do I need to wear this outfit? And why should I wear my makeup like this? Like, all of it's very simple for some people, but for others, even asking for help it just doesn't come naturally.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that pretty early.
Absolutely. Well, I'm camera ready. Today I'm a little casual, so forgive me.
You look great.
And I think that's interesting of today's environment too, and how much it's changed in terms of what's acceptable. And so let's start there as a couple of tips, because you are that mentor now for many other people, right? That's why I started to head down that route of you're the expert in this area. You've trial by fire. You've learned all of the things that work, and you know really what doesn't work, and you can help people to get over their stress and anxiety and do the right thing to get the best impact. So let's talk about that, some of the things that you might teach in your video boot camp that give like 2 or 3 tips to help somebody to know what not to do and to know what to do.
Absolutely. So the first one I would say is that people really do want to hear what you have to say. And that's not necessarily an on-camera tip, but after interviewing thousands of people, just over working many stations over the course of many years, people hesitate to go on camera because they feel what they have to say is not worthy. And let me tell you, if I've got a camera in your face with a microphone shoved really close to your mouth,
right,
I want to hear what you have to say. Like, I really, really want to hear what you have to say. So if I was interviewing you for a TV news segment, that's first of all what I would say. Mm-hmm. But now when I work with entrepreneurs or corporate executives to help them speak more effectively on camera, I want them to know that they have something that they really, that what they have is valuable, and that the things that they need to say are things that people need to hear.
So how do you help someone get over that? Because I know even I come up to that from time to time, and I still encounter that part of me that goes, well, really, that's nothing special. Like, and what difference are you going to make in this area? Because there's already 1,000 people doing this and so forth. So it's the things that people say to themselves or that they hear. How do you help them get over that?
So 2 things with that. So the first part is to let them know, yes, I need to hear you. Like, what you say is valuable. And then the second thing is a little bit more tied to vanity. So what stops people from pursuing more video opportunities a lot of times is they just don't like the way they look or sound, period. Mm-hmm. So I can help them with that. Number 1, the way you sound is, of course, the way you sound, but you're going to sound different in your own head than the way somebody else hears you. So part of that is slowing down. For women, it's really slowing down. And I work with a lot of women, so I say that because they tell me that they don't like the way their voices are high pitched. So if they slow down, then their voices will get into that deeper, lower register and will then sound a little bit lower. Right. And when you slow down, which is hard to do when you're nervous, then people can understand what you have to say and they feel more engaged with what you're trying to say. The other part of that is dressing in a way that makes you feel as much as you can more attractive. So a solid color that you love. Very simply, if you wear a solid color that you love, you probably look good in it, then you'll feel more confident being on camera. And the third thing related to what you say and how you get people to embrace video or want to say yes when a video opportunity comes their way is to not feel like you're selling something. So because I work more with entrepreneurs now, they always feel like, or some of them want to, they want to say, I've got a sale going on at the store, or I've got this new product launching, or I've got this program. And if you look at it like that, then it becomes less of an attractive thing that you're going to want to embrace going on camera. So instead, use this as an opportunity to teach. So when we're talking about the news, if someone were to pitch me a story, for example, and a lot of people did, they would say to me, hey, I've got this new program that we're launching or this new line of business that we've got going on. I'm like, that helps me none. Because if you pitch me this story continually. I'm going to send you to my sales department and they're going to charge you for that.
Yeah.
So what I want is I want a takeaway for my audience. If you are, and I've been thinking about taxes a lot lately, so it's the most exciting subject. Although I think it's fascinating, I will tell you.
Well, it's fascinating, but it's depressing as well.
It's depressing, exactly. But when you're talking about taxes, and we're at the beginning of the year, but a couple of weeks ago, if you had these tax tips that you could implement and save money on your 2019 taxes, if I had seen that article or seen that interview or heard that resource 2 weeks ago when it could have helped me, I would have been all in.
Yeah.
So that kind of information does one of two things. It shows your expertise. And honestly, if you're in the business, you know what you're talking about. Like if you're in the tax business, you probably know what you're talking about. You've studied the laws and they've changed very recently. You know what you're talking about. And people who are listening know this as well. Reporters know this if you know what you're talking about. But it shows you as an expert and you're not selling anything, yet people know exactly what you do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So educate.
Educate, don't sell. I mean, and that's really just good marketing, I think. When I was working with Chet Holmes and Tony Robbins as a business coach there, one of the things that we did was talk about education-based marketing. Is it's so much more powerful and accepted and it feels better to deliver, right? Because we all like to educate, and then there's that reciprocal agreement that takes place is when you've educated me, then I also feel like I want to do something back. So I'm more apt to buy something, right? That's in our psychology than anything else. So
absolutely. Absolutely.
So those are great tips. So slow down. I'm just going to repeat them because I wrote them down, and then that makes us get it more in our head. Pick a color. Like I have picked like 2 signature colors. Of course, today I'm like a really bad example, but typically when I do my videos, you'll see me either in purple, which is my colors that I like, or I wear orange. Orange has become a color for me because with dark hair, it's a good color for me. So I've heard that before, and it is so powerful, and you feel good when you're out there wearing it. So, I can, like everything that you're saying, I have experienced also, and is really, really good stuff. That education we talked about. And I think you said something also that's really important is timing. If you can bring out your content, right, in that timely space that you can provide it, like you said, just before taxes, or if you do goal setting, do it just before the new year.
Oh, absolutely.
And so forth, that's also going to be very timely and relevant for people. And that's going to make it that much more valuable as well. So those are awesome, awesome, awesome tips.
Distractions are the enemy of productivity. Go to distractionquiz.com and find out your distraction profile. Are you a time zombie or a hamster? Take this free distraction quiz today to rate your ability to focus on what keeps you from being a wizard. Go to distractionquiz.com.
Tell us, is this what you do in your boot camp, or tell us what your boot camp actually entails working with people?
It does entail all of that, because when I left television news, so in terms of having videos be part of our job, that's kind of what I look at it like. We produce stories every single day. We had newscasts, several of them a day, and sometimes our job was to create stories for those particular shows, sometimes 1 or 2 per day. So it was a job. Like you created your videos, you tracked them, you put them together, and it was part of what you did. But when I left television, I realized that people who are not in the business of having this be their job look at video as something that is not kind of on their calendar. So it's not, I'm not saying that it's not important.
Option, not a priority.
Exactly. It's an option. Exactly. Very, very good. So it's more of something that is nice to have.
Mm-hmm.
Although they do see, especially in the last 2 or 3 years, how critical it has been for the success of other people's businesses. So it's rising higher.
If you go to somebody's website and they don't have some kind of video that shows about their business, about who they are and telling their story, they're going to next, right? They're not going to see the site. They're not going to engage with it.
They want to see you. People want to see you before they go any further. And so a lot of the boot camp is really getting people to take action and giving them the tools they need to make sure they do. And One of them was something that we talked about before we started recording, is the power of batching.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, and I'm sure you hear this as well, that I don't have time.
That's the main thing that everybody says. It's our ultimate excuse, right?
Absolutely. I don't have time to market. I don't have time to write emails. I don't have time to network. And I definitely don't have time to create videos. One of the things I say to them is the reason we did so many videos, well, because it was our job, but the way we were able to do that is through batching, is to say, okay, especially if we had segments ahead of time, if we weren't doing news of the day, but we were doing things that were more into the future,
right?
We would batch 3, 4, 5 segments in one day in one setting. And then people get all in their heads. They're like, well, how about your clothing? And how about this? And I'm like, let's pause. Let's set it on the calendar, the date that we're going to do, let's say 6 segments, which is exhausting. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
But 6 segments.
But you get it done.
You get it done. You figure out your outfits. You figure out what you're going to say. You figure out who your interviewees are going to be. You figure out any of the sorts of things that you need to think about, but you only think about them once. You do it right before that session. And it's like one jam session getting ready for this batch shoot. But once you're done with that, you have 4, 5, 6 segments all in the can ready for the next month. And people, they shy away from that because it seems like a lot of work, which it is, but it just makes so much more sense in terms of getting the result that you want.
Yeah, it does. And if you think about it, if people think about what they're doing in their life and where they're having success, they're batching.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
They're batching.
Yes.
Do they sit down and write just one blog, or do they write a couple of blogs? Do they sit down and do one tweet, or do they go on to Hootsuite or one of those tools and batch it and do a whole bunch of tweets, right? And a whole bunch of statements, or they're going to create memes, right? You don't just create one meme. You're better off and you're more productive when you're creating and batching. So I'm all about batching. And then it gets you also to be themed in your day. So you have a day that's like dedicated to your videos.
Right.
And then that way you're putting your videos together, you're planning your videos, right? You can just do all of that. And that might only be 1 or 2 days a month, and then you're done.
And then you're done. It's pretty powerful once
really
you get the hang of it. And students in my boot camp in the beginning, I know they're not thrilled. They're not super excited.
Do you do it? Do you like, is that part of the boot camp where you like bring your clothes, you're going to do like these segments here?
I used to do that in a separate session. It's not part of the boot camp per se, but this is really an opportunity to show people the benefits of it. And then that's more of an in-person
with
session.
all the skills that they need.
Yes.
Awesome.
But it works. It really just works.
Yeah.
And as you know, when batching, I mean, it's just sort of the same as working out. The first 10 minutes stink. I mean, they really, like, you wish you could go home and have a donut, but you're just going to power through. You have your sneakers and water, and you're good to go after a little while.
Right.
Same with video batching.
Get into it, and then you're there. I think the other benefit of batching, and I'd love to hear your opinion on this, is it creates a simplicity. When it's spread out throughout the month, there's more of a complexity to it. And the more complexity and multiple things that we're doing in one day, actually the more distracted we get, right? Because it's more complex. And so we get like distracted about, I think I gotta do all this. And then you got to get into it and out of it and into it again.
Part of what I see too is we are all in our own heads. All of us, me too. I'm like, oh, is that good enough? Oh, I don't know if that's good enough.
Right.
But if you get it all done at once, and then you don't look at it for maybe a day. Let's say you shoot 4 segments and you're like, that wasn't great, but it's done. And then you let it sit for a day. And then you come back. The thing about video is you're never as great as you thought you were, but you're also never as bad. So you're always like kind of in the middle. But if you revisit the set of videos you did, you might be like, wow, that was all right. Let me edit this up and send it because that's better than I thought.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer also in good enough. Like, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So we can work something, but we can also say, am I getting the message out there? And am I being authentic? And if it's not perfect, maybe that's even better. You know,
especially in this day and age, it is. People like that.
I've had people say to me, because sometimes I think things through. So when I get up to say something, it's thought through and it's clear and it's directed. And I was at this one event and I got up and I said what my goals were, and that was part of the thing. And people gave me the feedback later that they didn't feel like I was authentic or that they could relate to me because it was too perfect. And I was like, what? Okay. People do want it that to connect to you. Sometimes it's being real. It's not about being perfect.
Exactly.
So that's awesome. Let's come back and take a step back because people might be thinking, well, we talked a little bit about why video is important in telling your story, but let's go a little deeper into that.
Okay. Well, I think it's what you said earlier about authenticity. And I really feel that when you are on video, and I'm not talking about one and done videos. I'm actually not talking about videos that you create with a production crew, more like videos like this, even as we're creating a video, or if you do a video using your phone for YouTube or for Facebook, more those videos. You can only be so not you. Like if you create enough videos, you're you who you are on camera. I mean, it's a lot of work to not be you on camera. So most of the time, you're you on these videos. Now, again, not talking about the ones where you have a camera crew and like people with lights and microphones and all that. That's a little different because you're then like a little bit of an actor, an actress. Yeah. But when you do more videos where it's more like, hey, how are you? This is me in my house, in my office. People really see you as you are. And I think they really like that. I like that. I personally like that. And I don't even watch a ton of videos. I don't watch videos like my kids do, first of all. They watch videos all day long. Okay. But they really do connect with the people who they watch. And I do too. So given that I don't watch as many videos as they do, I watch enough to know that I really feel like I know people once I see them on video. And it's not so much a professional kind of thing. I don't care about the set. I don't care about their hair, makeup, or lighting. I really don't. I just want to hear what they have to say. And if we all take that mindset, then we can get a lot of benefit because people will connect with us in a way that would be really hard to do if we weren't sitting across from each other at a Panera or at a Starbucks or something.
Right. The couple things that stood out from what you just said that relates back also to what we said earlier about people believing and knowing that people want to hear from them is that we each have a unique way of saying it. And so even though it might be similar to what someone else is saying, it's not. It's different. And the way that you present it and the stories that you have, people do want to hear it. So when you're able to present it in your natural way, like you said, then that's what people are attracted to. So that really stuck with me from what you said there.
Thank you.
For sure. And people do want to hear what you have to say. So if you're out there, you should be talking about your stories, because I also believe, tell me what you think about this, is that I was on an interview this morning and we were talking about the theme that gets weaved through our lives, right? The lessons that we get and keep getting, right? That they seem to be like similar lessons that we're like at growing, and then we get the lesson at this level and then we grow. But somehow, like for me, it's always been theme that has come back. And I believe because it is like that, then it must be there for me to share and to teach people what I've learned and to share those stories. Is that what you feel like?
I love that.
What's your opinion on that?
I absolutely love that. And I definitely see that with the people I work with. I absolutely see that. A lot of times that's why they come to us first in the news. So they've done something in a good way. I mean, I've interviewed a lot of people, but if they are not like part of a bad news story, then I've interviewed them for something good they've done. And a lot of times it's something that they've learned, put into motion, created in some way that has come from inside them that is important for the rest of us to hear. And we get value from it. And I definitely see the people I work with are incredible, and they have this passion to help others. And it's really neat. There's no other time and place we could have done this, to have all these opportunities available to us to connect.
Yeah.
And really, it doesn't cost that much in an internet connection.
No, it's actually one of the cheapest forms, right? The phone quality, I do all my videos from my phone because the quality is just as good as any camera I can buy.
It's very true. And the way that your story or this person's story or that person's story from their childhood, from work, from family can inspire somebody else is undeniable. The thing is it has to come out of you. And
love the way you just said that. It's undeniable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Cheryl, we're coming to the end of our time. So where can people reach you and find out more about your video bootcamp and hear more about what it is that you're up to?
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity to tell people more about this. The video bootcamp is a 4-week program, and it's like a boot camp. I really like to compare it to like having like a fitness instructor. I'm not a fitness instructor. I'm a video instructor, right? And we do push-ups, but really it's more painful than that in some cases because it's forcing you to turn the camera on yourself and actually hit record. Mm-hmm. And it's been a really fun journey to help people push themselves out of their comfort zone. Because I know it's uncomfortable. I mean, this was me like 20 years ago. Except I was being paid to do this and I wanted to do this. So a lot of people are still trying to figure out whether this is what they want to do and whether it makes sense and whether it is worth their time. And I will say that having worked with the people I have worked with, I know it's worth their time in terms of clients, so money, and in terms of self-confidence and feeling validated in whatever they've decided to do. So, I mean, everybody comes to this point of their own, at their own level. So 4 weeks we do this, then I set you free and we just cheer you on. And it's really been a fun journey. It really has been. I have a masterclass that can sort of outline a little bit of what I talk about, and I can share that with your audience as well.
Right. All right. That'll be in the show notes. Yes. So check out the masterclass.
Yes.
And is that available for free for people?
Absolutely. Free, and just sign up and you'll get the link in your email. Mm-hmm.
Great way to build on what you've already talked about here and then see whether that video bootcamp is right for them.
Thank you. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Cheryl. So thanks for being here, and thank you all for being here because you're an important part of the show. Without you, there would be no show. So, and I really want to just bring about the point that your story is important. And if you're in business, then you need to be using your story as part of your business. And the way to get it out there and to build that relationship, there's no better way than video, because video is, like Cheryl had said earlier, people feel like they know you already. It's a way for them to get to know you without being in front of you. And that is incredible as to it's available to you. And it's available to you for so low of a cost. And at this year, my theme is do more with what you have. So you have your story already. You have access to video. So you just need a few tips and tricks to round it out and make it your best foot forward. And so that's what I want for all of you, is to be able to take your business and your lives to the next level. So use your story, tell your story, and check out Cheryl's video bootcamp and mastery program. It's really going to help you to take your video and your presence to the next level. So my name is Penny Zenker, and this is Take Back Time. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening. Today's topic is another opportunity for you to put the knowledge you learned into practice. Tune in again next week for more strategies that will help you have more energy and focus to get more done in less time, so you can continue to take back time.